Brought to you by the WZIP sports team.
This is Sports Power Talk Overtime.
Featuring in-depth interviews.
Someone brings a video up and was like, hey, look at this. And we all kind of watch it. And to be honest with you, we all just kind of like chuckled and just thought nothing of it.
Exclusive original content.
They do need Austin Theory.
Every brand needs Austin. That's why SmackDown won. That's why SmackDown won. Is because they got Austin Theory. And of course, the hottest takes.
Kings Celtics.
Okay. If we see Kings Sixers, I'll sell my dog.
Man, you heard it here first. Mitch Bates is going to sell his dog.
So get ready because it's time
for SPT Overtime.
Hello and welcome back to Quarter by Quarter. I'm your host, Mitch Kobe, joined here today by nobody, unfortunately. Sean's out sick, and he'll be back in 2 weeks, we would hope, Hope it's nothing serious. I would guess it's just a stomach flu, something like that. Anyway, you want proof no one's here with me? Boom, bam, it's just me. Just me, you know what I'm saying? All by myself. We're going to be talking about some basketball. This is new for me. Stick with me. And obviously it's new for you. This is something I don't think's ever been done on the WZIP YouTube channel, so it's a first. First for everything, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's just jump right into it. With the first thing I have here is that the Cavs are 8-1 when James Harden plays. Think about that. We came on here talking about how crazy it was that we were getting rid of Darius Garland. Not that like we didn't think James Harden was good or anything. We thought James Harden was fantastic, but it's just absolutely insane. We're getting rid of a homegrown talent in Darius Garland. We obviously love him. We're gonna miss him. That was our whole thing. We were attached to him emotionally, but I had no idea James Harden was gonna come in here and light it up. Obviously, there are the things about the James Harden honeymoon phase and whatnot, but you would hope that that doesn't come true in Cleveland. This is something that, surprised me. I know how good of a player James Harden is, but I had no clue he would come in here and do this. I know I just repeated myself, but that's how shocking it really is, Obviously, I said he's 8-1. His stats also, it's funny because you look at the stats and it's really nothing crazy. In the 9 games he's played, he's averaged 19 points a game, 3.7 turnovers. Yikes. 1.2 steals, 8.1 assists. Or wait, no, I'm reading his career. That's my bad. He has 0.7 steals, 7.9 assists, 5 rebounds as well. It's honestly just crazy. Shooting very efficient from the floor as well. 45 from 3, 46 from, almost 47 from just the floor in general. Very consistent, which, I knew how good he was. He's a Hall of Fame talent. I think he's on the NBA 75 list. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully I'm right on that. And I just didn't expect him to be this good, this impactful so early on. Obviously, I know people were coming around saying things about the nature of, well, he's, why can't I think of, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying there. But anyway, he has made Jared Allen look extremely good in the games that he's played. Jared Allen had a couple good games right before he came in, and then that just only helps it. February, Jared Allen is something different, as they've been saying. Black History Month, Jared Allen, something crazy. Unfortunately, though, Harden is already suffering an injury. Apparently, Cleveland's just cursed with injuries. He has a fractured right thumb, but fortunately, I guess, on a optimistic side of things, that is his non-dominant hand, and he's playing through it. So it's looking fine for the meanwhile. I think the second game he's played with that injury, he shot 4 of 16, which is really bad. But, he has a fractured thumb. Blame it on that. I'm not going to write too heavy on home about that, Nothing too crazy for that. Obviously, still miss Darius Garland, but this trade right now is looking insane. I don't have any... I know I came in during the trade saying that I didn't, see playoff aspirations for the Cavs. I was still thinking a first-round exit, nothing crazy. But, right now, I can't help but believe that there's a possibility that this team comes out and contends in the Eastern Conference for that championship spot, likely against the Thunder, which, I said they're 8-1, but you look at that game against the Thunder, it was not good. Don't have it pulled up here with me. I'll grab that real quick. But, let me tell you, they got stomped by the Thunder's bench, pretty much. I'm pretty sure this is the game right here. Let me make sure. It's awesome that it's just straight up not showing me. No, that awesome. You know, I'm sorry. This is stay with me. You know, this is the a one person thing, and normally I can just do this when someone else is talking, but trying to multitask here, and it's just not showing. There it is. I looked at the last game and I was like, DeAndre Hunter, what? You know, that's just absolutely insane. But here's the actual stat sheet I want. We lost 113-121. It's a lot closer than I remembered it being, but you look at the stat sheet, the Cavs won. Oh, they got 40 points put on their head in that first quarter. That is rough. And then, I mean, you don't lose there, but it's very hard to come back from that, obviously. You don't only put up, so they put up 25 first, 30 in the second, 31 in the third, 27 in the fourth. And you're like, all right, well, I mean, that's against the reigning champion. That's not that bad. And then you go to the bench, or not bench, you go to the box score. Look at who played this game. Shea and Jalen Williams were both not in this game. And we lost to Isaiah Joe. That is who had the most points. 22. Followed closely by Casey Wallace with 20. It's a game you don't want to write off because of how monumental normally playing the reigning champion would be. But then you look at this and you're like, ooh, they didn't have anybody, whatever, you know. They didn't have their two biggest guys, and we still lost. And for us, we had mostly everyone. The only person that's missing is still Max Strus, which I'm not a medical person myself, you know. But a Jones fracture after this long? Jason Tatum's returning with a ruptured Achilles. I don't know what's going on. Either Jason Tatum's Superman or Max Strus' foot actually just blew up. But it's crazy. Anyway, with looking at this game, you just see that they really didn't put up they put up a fine enough fight, but obviously not good enough to take down the reigning champs. You have three people with 20 points on the Cavs with Sam Merrill, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden. But you really just I don't know. This game really isn't something. I mean, obviously, you're going to look at this, be like, you lost to that team without whatever. It's an evenly matched game. You should have won this. I'm not saying they should have won by, a bunch, but, it's not good here. Also hard when the Thunder shot 51% from three in this game. So, keep that in mind. Cavs also shot 33%. Not great. But, I think this is a game that you can look at and be like, the Cavs, in theory, should get crushed by this Thunder team. So it's very hard for me to rationalize in my head being like, oh yeah, this team is just completely fine with James Harden, boom, championship aspirations, whatever. I'm still not completely sold like some people are on this team just completely shredding through and making it to the finals. I think they'll have I severely hope this team makes it out of at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just genuinely hope so much that happens. Anyways, I completely lost what I was going with. But Donovan Mitchell has been out the past 4 games with a groin strain. That's never good to have multiple people on your team getting injured at the same time. We had it last year where absolutely 0 people got injured. And then all of a sudden, come playoff time, everyone's injured. You have Darius Garland with his toe. You have Jared Allen with his ribs. That was awful. Just a bunch of genuinely terrible things. Donovan Mitchell also played through that thing, his calf strain. Genuinely, injury luck plagued us all playoffs. So I guess if you were to try and be optimistic on this, the injuries are coming in the regular season, not the postseason. But you never know. Injuries aren't just going to be like, oh, you had enough in the regular season. It is what it is, forget about it, Yeah. Darius Garland, though, other man, traded for James Harden, him and a second-round pick, made his debut with the Clippers against the Warriors in a 114-101 win. Clippers win rare. They went against a Warriors team that is absolutely decimated. No Jimmy Butler. Steph Curry's out. Draymond's out. Pause minutes for you, buddy. Kuminga's gone. I don't know. I mean, they weren't playing him anyway. It's looking pretty good in Atlanta. Maybe they could have used him, you know. Maybe he was right about being the main point of a team. I don't think so. I'm just joking. But, you know, it's funny to look at that. Whatever. Darius Garland, as I was saying, finished with 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists, and a steal off the bench. Still coming off the bench, nursing this toe injury that's plagued him since all of last playoffs, you know, re-injuring his other toe, getting an injury on the opposite foot, you know. I mean, I'm still hoping that he is a great player and can come back to the all-star that he was while he was in Cleveland, because I just like Darius Garland. I'm not a big fan of the Clippers, but obviously I stay in touch with Darius Garland because I'm a fan of him, you know, just keeping in touch with that. And then another piece of big NBA news is that Jason Tatum plans to return Friday, coming back from his Achilles injury that occurred in the playoffs. Like I was saying, this is absolutely insane. You never see someone come back from an Achilles injury so fast, I guess you would say. It's a weird to see people come back from an Achilles injury because you never know, are they going to be the same player? Is it something where you have to nurse it for a super long time? I would assume they're nursing it for a super long time because, I mean, I would be extremely careful with this, you know. The Celtics have room to lose. They're 41-21 second in the East. Jason Tatum's not even back yet. Obviously, you have the debates on, with Jason Tatum coming back, is this team worse than they are right now? I don't think so. I think that's absolutely insane, but you never know. You know, you take away a star player, and sometimes you just realize that that player is a detriment to the team. Perfect example is Trae Young on the Hawks. Take away him, they start winning games. Obviously, they are not good right now. Actually, they're on a win streak, but they haven't looked great since the Trae Young trade. Not that they got anything in return to help them win. They're in a 5-game win streak, 32-31. But, you know, you would think Jason Tatum comes back, and this team, once again, is probably, to most people, I would say, second contender in the East. I think a lot of people are very high on the Cavs, which I don't blame them for. But for me personally, watching the Cavs, I just can't do that. Can't put my hopes up, you know. But I'm hoping the Cavs do good. And, you know, the Celtics have always been their kryptonite. Every single time they play the Celtics, they just seem to get stomped. They played them last year multiple times. Every single game just seemed like a stomp. It was them and the Thunder. The Thunder, obviously, best team in the league, and you're like, oh, all right, whatever. And then the Celtics, who obviously people are thinking highly of, a lot of the people on their championship roster are still on that team. This year, very different team from that championship roster that they had last year. That was playing the Cavs and beat them multiple times, but you would hope the Cavs have figured it out by now. The Hornets climbed to 9th in the East and are on a 6-game tear. You're not sleeping. I am. You're not dreaming either. I don't know if this is anybody's dream. This is a podcast from the University of Akron. I don't know who's a Charlotte Hornets fan, you know, but this is real. I am so for real right now. FR, if you know what I'm saying. 6-game win streak for this team that has looked awful all year? And they've won by 15 plus points multiple times. All of these games that they won in the 6-game stretch. And despite all these games they won on the 6-game stretch, coming against teams that aren't very good, 15 points, and then I'm pretty sure 3 of these teams, they won by 20. Let me go through all of them real quick. Wizards, they win 129-112. Bulls, they beat 131-99. Bulls are obviously really bad. Doesn't shock me. They finally accepted that they're tanking. It is what it is. Pacers, they win 133-109. Trailblazers, they beat 109-93. Mavericks, they beat 117-90. And the craziest of them all, they beat the Celtics 118-89. What? It's actually baffling, you know. You see teams turn it around really quick. You see the Detroit Pistons, who in the past couple of years have looked awful, and now they are they're not settled as the number 1 seed, but they're in comfortable place right now with 5 games ahead of the Celtics for first place in the East. And with the Hornets, they did that in 1 season. I'm not saying the Hornets are anything crazy to write home about, you know. I think there's multiple super bright spots on that team. You have Brandon Miller, obviously. You have LaMelo Ball, who they moved to the bench, and it's starting to work there, you know, figuring stuff out. They have Concadipple, who in his rookie season has climbed over Cooper Flagg in the Rookie of the Year like rankings, which is just crazy. You know, like people had Cooper Flagg as a surefire Rookie of the Year, and since his team isn't good, and Conca Nipples being a massive player on this team, helping them in the stretch, he's right now the front runner to win it. Obviously, there's still 20 or so games to go, and you never know. Maybe Cooper Flagg puts on the most insane performances of all time, but he's done that already, had some pretty insane performances, but Conca Nipples winning games, unlike Cooper Flagg, you know, helps you a lot in your case there. Miles Bridges, obviously, has been there. They traded for Colin Sexton and Kobe White. 2 guards. What? Why is this working? Like, in every aspect of this shouldn't be working. LaMelo Ball and Conca Nipple were already on this team. You know, they started out the year with those 2. Kobe White, a guy who consistently has been in all-star conversations, he's traded to the Bulls. I mean, not to the Bulls, to the Hornets. You trade him to the Hornets for, like, nothing. Or, well, Colin Sexton's not on the team anymore. That's my bad. Colin Sexton is on the Bulls now. You trade Colin Sexton to the Bulls for Kobe White. Like, what? Who would have ever thought of this? This is like there's been so many weird moves this season. Like, I see it constantly where people are like, I have no clue how to put a read on NFL trades, you know, because people will trade like a first round pick for, they did it today, first round pick for DJ Moore, or no, it was someone else. I apologize, but they traded a first round pick for them. DJ Moore was traded for picks, but I don't remember the pick that they traded for him. Either way, they don't know how to put a gauge on it. And just like that, in the NBA, I don't know how to put a read on what is a good trade in the NBA, you know? Cam Thomas, for the longest time, has been in so many trade rumors because he should be shopped around. You know, the Nets are losing, whatever. Cam Thomas really isn't a winning player. He's a volume shooter, you know? That's what he does. He hasn't looked great in Milwaukee, but you want to know what? You want to know how he got there? He got cut off the Nets. A person who has consistently seemed to have trade value got cut off his team who isn't winning. What? There's so many instances of that this year where players get traded and it just makes zero sense. Like, the trade isn't equal, but I don't really see what teams see, you know? Like, the Trae Young one, you could at least rationalize and be like, Trae Young, they traded for contract reasons, and that makes sense. You know, whatever. Bada bing, bada boom, contract. But it's beyond me. The Bulls now have like 7 guards. They're all young. They're exciting guards that people have high hopes for, but, you know, just never really makes any sense, to be honest. But besides the point, Charlotte's winning games. A sentence I did not think I would say this year, but they are indeed winning, and in dominant fashion for the most part. And last thing I have here is that Jared Allen in February, as I said, was insane. It is March, so unfortunately his superpowers have gone away, but hopefully he can reawaken in next February. Hopefully he can awaken them consistently in throughout the playoffs, throughout the end of the season. But let me tell you this. Let me show you the stats, all right? Averaging, so in the normal season, just in total everything, including February, including every game he's ever played, this season he's averaged 15.3 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.9 steals, and how many blocks? Let me check that for you. I apologize for looking at these things. I didn't have them pulled up. I have it pulled up, you know, but like not exactly ready. 0.9 blocks, 1 steal. Good numbers, you know, solid center minutes. And then in February, he decides to go nuclear. Absolutely insane. 22.3 points a game. 0.8 steals, 1.3 blocks, 2 assists, 11.5 rebounds, shooting 74% from the floor. Multiple stats came out in February that Jared Allen and Wilt Chamberlain were the only 2. What? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Actually just insane. Anyway, that was basically what I had for that. And now I'll just talk about some stuff going around on the NBA. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about stuff going around the NBA right now, but we're in March. It's a weird part in the NBA season. A lot of teams are at a point where the people playing in their games, just like their star players, aren't playing. They're injured. You're getting worn down. So now you're getting like, not like the Mickey Mouse minutes, I guess. You know, like the minutes that really don't matter. You look at these stats and you're like, whoa, this player's really good. And it's just because it's in March and they're playing against like actual bums. You know, not bums. They're in the NBA, but bums in an NBA standard. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you get that. You get a bunch of false stats. Jared Allen did it the month before. Crazy. And then I think the final thing I'll just cover here is the MVP things going on right now. So in the NBA, obviously, they have a 65-game rule, which is a cool idea. I like the 65-game rule, but in the modern NBA, where rest is so heavily prioritized and players are barely ever playing 65, you get weird things where this year, so obviously the leaders are Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, number 1. That's who people have. Number 2, Jokic. Makes sense. 3 is Cade Cunningham. I mean, Cade Cunningham has had a phenomenal season. I don't think he should really be 3, but it is a weaker year in an MVP sense, you know. 4 is Wemby. 5, Jaylen Brown. 6, Luka. 7, Donovan Mitchell. 8, Anthony Edwards. 9, Jalen Brunson. 10, Kawhi Leonard. Let that sink in. At the 10th, on this certain website, The Athletic and their betting, whatever. I'm just going off this because obviously they have it there for a reason. In 10th place is Kawhi Leonard. A guy notoriously known for missing games. He's been phenomenal when he has played, but that's the thing. He hasn't played too many games, you know. Just kind of like, you know, I was like, ah. But right now, as it sits, if we were to continue into the NBA season, everything doesn't change, you know, everything stays the same. Players keep missing the amount of games they've been missing, whatever. Cade Cunningham is your front runner for MVP because Jokic and SGA are both missing a consistent amount of games. I think personally this rule should be adjusted. I don't know how low. I like the idea of the rule trying to get more people to play games, but awards shouldn't be gifted to players. It really should be going to the player who actually earned that. It doesn't matter if you played, if you play 50 games and average 50 points, you know, you should get the award. But in the current landscape of the NBA, that wouldn't happen, you know, 65 games. You could lower it to 60, maybe 58, somewhere around there. It's just with this amount of games you can miss, it kind of doesn't allow for any major sort of injury, I guess you could say. It doesn't allow for you sprain your ankle and you're out for 4 weeks. You can't miss any more games the rest of that season, pretty much. Depending on how you're scheduled, if there's a high chance you pretty much can't miss anything the rest of the season, but that's not possible. You know, SGA is not going to be like, I'm going to play through this injury because I want to win MVP. Like, you know, it's just not going to work like that. These players, for the most part, want to play these games, and this new award rule is just kind of weird, you know? It doesn't really, it's not accomplishing what it's trying. More players aren't playing games because they want to win these awards, I don't think. You know, I'm not an NBA player. I don't know any NBA players personally, but I would assume these players aren't playing or missing more games than they normally would because of this award requirement. And with that, basically all I had. I know it's a short episode this week, but it was just me, and I just wanted to get my thoughts out on the NBA this week and wanted to give you guys something. You know, if you like this format, maybe me and Sean can switch off, or maybe we could do it together. You know, do it just a short update every other week, you know, something like that. But that's all I had. So with that, I've been Mitch Kobe, joined here once again by literally no one, just me. But you've been listening to Quarter by Quarter QBQ. Hopefully you come back 2 weeks from now, where there will be 2 of us at that table, and we'll be probably losing our minds about something. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed.